Have you ever smelt a fragrance and thought, this is it, this is just me? I know that I certainly have. I feel like some of the most memorable details about a person or a place is often the smell. When it comes to my perfume collection, each scent tells a story about who I am, how I like to express myself, as well as the memories that are attached with that particular scent. I noticed I had quite a few perfumes and we've got a little bit of a growing collection here. So I thought I'd sit down and share it with you today and that we talk about the hits, the misses, as well as the wish list scents still yet to be added. I feel we've got a good selection from lower tier to more expensive, niche perfumes. So I thought it'd be worth sharing my thoughts on each of the perfumes I have so you can decide what's splurging on if any of them have taken your fancy. Let's start off with the hits before we go into the misses. And these are in no particular order, but just so happens the first one that I'm going to be pulling out is the one that I've worn perhaps the most. It's definitely been my signature scent for many, many years, and that is the Jo Malone Peony and Blush Suede Cologne. This is actually even my second bottle. This is actually a cologne that was released quite a while ago by Jo Malone. I think it was 2013 that they'd released it, and by the fact that it's over a decade later, and they're still making it and loads of people rave about this, it just goes to show you just how much of a beautiful scent this is. It's a very soft scent, it's romantic, but without being overpowering. You're getting notes of peony, red apple, jasmine, rose, and obviously suede. And it's an absolutely stunningly clean, feminine, but not overly sweet perfume. I love this as an everyday scent, and it can also layer really nicely with other Jo Malone perfumes. And I believe this is around £115 for the 100ml bottle. Downside that I would mention though for this cologne is that the longevity, the lasting power is quite disappointing for the price point. It's not exactly a cheap perfume. Definitely needs a refresh though halfway through the day, which can be annoying. And it's obviously why I've used so much of it, because after an hour or so, it's pretty much non-existent. But I feel like the scent itself is so lovely. I forgive it for that. Now let's move on to something with very fun packaging. This is the Carolina Herrera Good Girl, and it's in a stiletto, which is so cool. They've made many spin-offs though, because the Good Girl range is so iconic. Now this is a wonderful evening scent. It's super sensual. After spraying it, it's really got these like jasmine notes, almond, tonka bean. It's a go-to for evenings out or special occasions. It's absolutely stunning, and I do love the bottle too. Now this particular bottle is in the 80ml. I think that's around £95. I've used it quite a bit actually. I think it's just the fact that this bottle is a strange shape. So, you know, it might look emptier than it actually is because it's not really straight up and down, but I've definitely used around half of this particular bottle. And I love the depth of the scent over time. It settles really nicely. Now let's move on to a new addition to the collection and my first foray into niche perfumes. And this is by the iconic Maison Francis Kirk Dijon, and this is the scent 724. Now this one has fast become a favorite of mine, a nice everyday scent because it's super clean, simple, but as with all MFK perfumes, comes with a lot of depth. So on the notes, you're getting the distinct aldehyde smell, which is quite pungent and strong, but not in an overbearing way. You've got white flowers, jasmine again, so nice and floral. And you've also got sandalwood. It's perfect for work days or when you want to smell polished, yet understated. Though of course, this is a little bit more expensive of a bottle for every day. It's around £195, I believe, for the 70ml. But I did want to personally invest in more niche perfumes, more distinctive and unique scents, and this one did not disappoint. Maison Francis Kirk Dijon is also very well known for their perfumer heritage and for their very popular distinctive scents like the Baccarat Rouge that you'll be aware of. But I wanted to get something a bit different and also something that is not just going to be for special occasions. And the 724 is, like in the name, something that you can wear 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day. Now, of course, because this is a new perfume to the collection, it hasn't been dented that much. I love the very simplistic but elevated packaging, and you also have this cool cityscape picture on the back, which I love. And moving on to another niche perfume, again, a new addition to the collection, we have Parfum de Marly's Valaya. You'll have to excuse the tassel. It's looking a bit worse for wear. It's not the best for traveling. It gets caught in things. And also my toothpaste leaked and exploded on the white tassel. This Valaya scent is a beautiful, juicy fragrance that I find is perfect for everyday wear. The notes that you'll get are mandarin, bergamot, orange blossom and musk, and it's a very light but very, very clean and elegant scent. Now, I believe this scent is quite new to the house. It is a 2023 release, but it's actually gained quite a cult following. And when I first smelled this in Harrods, where I bought it, it honestly was the perfect balance of sweet, citrusy, but not overpowering and artificial. It's a very joyful and uplifting scent, so definitely a mood booster in a bottle, and it's a scent that always gets me compliments. And you'd expect it to be that way because it's a very expensive perfume. It's around £290, I believe, for this bottle, so definitely not cheap, but I think it is well worth the price because it is such a beautiful scent. And I also love the frosted packaging as well. It's just very, very Parfum de Marly, very distinctive. I find that this is one that I reach for probably more than the 724 when it comes to niche perfumes. It's just a really delightful scent. And last but not least, the final hit in my perfume collection is my Creed Royal Princess Oud. Look at that bottle. That packaging is so stunning. Does make a statement, as does the scent. Now this, if you like an oud scent, will be a perfect addition to your collection. I have been looking for an oud fragrance for such a long time to essentially replace my old Jo Malone Velvet Rose and Oud, which I absolutely love. It's actually one that was recommended by ChatGPT of all things, because I hadn't actually smelt this scent in store. Obviously, if you can, definitely go and check out scents in store, because you don't want to buy something and then regret it in the post because you can't return anything. Now, when I was in Harrods relatively recently to buy the other niche perfumes, I did smell some ouds from the other houses, namely MFK. I also smelled some at Frederic de Mal, I believe, but they were just too overbearing, too pungent, very mushroomy, very fungal, if that makes sense. And it was just a little bit overpowering for my nose. After going through some selections online, doing a bit of research, and then putting them into ChatGPT, this Royal Princess Oud scent came up as a front runner. So I took a bit of a risk, and I'm so glad that I did, because it really paid off. It's super luxurious, very sophisticated. Obviously got the rose, you've got bergamot, patchouli, and obviously oud, which really gives it a lovely sensual, warm profile. Super long lasting, beautifully layered. It's perfect for formal occasions or when you want to feel elegant. And again, it's not a cheap perfume by any means. It's around £300 for the 75ml bottle, but it's a very regal scent, as is the name, that feels very, very timeless, and it's not going to overpower everyone. Honestly, I find myself wearing this one even during the daytime because it's just so intoxicating in the best possible way. This is definitely one of the most unique scents that I have in my current collection. Now let's talk about the misses that we have. And with the first one we're talking about, it's actually a gift that I was given from my family member. So it's such a shame that this one hasn't really worked out as well as I would like it to. Not because the scent is bad, but because it really doesn't have much staying power. And this is the Burberry Brit for her, and it's an eau de toilette, which naturally means it's going to have less staying power than an eau de parfum or a cologne or an essence. Now, this is a very clean scent. It's got notes of pear, lime, a slight hint of almond, and they've got some more woody notes like your mahogany and amber. This is very, very lovely scent, universally crowd pleasing. It's a very clean scent, but it has zero longevity. I spray it and 5 minutes later, I have to spray it again because I can't smell it anymore. But it's quite inexpensive. It's probably around £40, 50 maximum. You can probably also get it on a discount quite easily. Now moving on to our second miss, and this one is a real shame. I'm sure a lot of you out there will be shocked given that I love this brand outside of fragrances so much. And this is the Chanel Coco Mademoiselle. Now, this particular perfume has won many an award since its launch, I think in the early 2000s. And you can tell why on the face of it, because it's a very clean and lightly floral scent. You've got notes of white flowers, of jasmine, a hint of vanilla, ylang ylang as well. But for me, it smells quite artificial. This is just very overpowering. It feels dated, it feels synthetic, which is ironic because it's called Coco Mademoiselle. So it's meant to be a more feminine and lighter fragrance compared to your just Coco, compared to the Chanel No. 5. But I'm finding it to be a little bit too old for me. It feels like a grandma scent. It's quite heavy and cloying to my taste. Now, you're probably wondering why I have this in my collection if I don't really like the scent. Again, this was a gift that was given to me. It's just not a scent that I gravitate towards, clearly, because after all this time, it's only been dented the smallest amount. So this is more just a display piece on my table, which is lovely, don't get me wrong. But this particular version of the Coco perfumes is just not for me. I'm sure there are plenty others in the Chanel range that would better align with my scent preferences. I just don't dare go and check any more of them because I feel like I have quite a lot of perfumes and I should probably use the ones that I have before I repurchase any. And moving on to the next miss in my perfume collection, and it's also another gift, which is a shame because these are classic perfumes, classic scents, but it's just not for me. And this is the J'adore by Dior scent. While it is an iconic scent, while it has been made for many years, if not decades, it's a bit overpowering when you spray it. It settles really nicely, but on the first impression, it's quite overly pungent and it's a bit intense and a bit artificial. Now, what you're getting actually is a combination of pear, of melon, magnolia flowers, again, jasmine. So when I do reach for this, I resign myself to the fact that for the first 15 minutes, it's gonna be a bit overpowering. It's gonna almost wipe out everybody in the room, but then when it dries down and when it settles, it becomes really lovely. And I do love to smell this on my clothing like the next day because it has this really faint hint of those floral sweet notes. And this is not a cheap perfume by any means. I think it's over £100 for 50 ml. So this is 150, so it must be around 200 plus pounds. So you've got to really love it if you want to splurge for this perfume. But of course, compared to the other niche perfumes, you get a lot more for your money. It's just a little bit intense at the beginning for my liking, but it does have staying power, so that is a good thing. Now moving on to the fourth perfume in this section, and there seems to be a common denominator. It seems to be when people give me gifts rather than when I buy a perfume that they don't work out as well. But obviously it has the best intent in mind. And I think this one is a really lovely and thoughtful gift that was given to me actually on my birthday one year. And this is the Vera Wang Princess scent. And of course, it's got this beautiful princessy packaging with a little crown because my friend jokes that I am a princess. It's got notes of water lily, vanilla. You've got some amber, some chocolate notes as well, which is really, really nice. So it's a really lovely scent for younger audiences, which is, I guess, why they've called it Princess. But the only bad thing, again, is the lack of staying power. It just doesn't really smell of anything after around 10 minutes, which is a shame. So you can see I've used a lot of it. It's around halfway empty because by virtue of the fact that I have to keep spraying it. Now, that being said, this is a more affordable scent. I believe it's around 50 or 60 pounds for a 100 ml bottle that I have here. I'm not sure that I would have considered Vera Wang for perfumes, but I do know that the Princess scent is a very popular one. I believe it's one of their, best sellers, and for good reason. I just wish that it lasted a lot longer. But this one is a lovely scent. And clearly I have used it a lot since I got it. It has changed a little bit of colour though, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was more purple before, now it's a little bit lighter over time, so perhaps that has also changed the scent profile. And now we have the final perfume in the Mrs. part of the perfume collection. And this is actually two that I've grouped together because they have the same kind of scent profile, and that's because I have two essence perfumes here to share with you. Now, essences, from what I understand, because I did learn about this when I was abroad in Cairo, this one's from Cairo in Egypt, and then this one's actually from Dubai, that essences are a lot more concentrated than your perfumes, your cologne. So they use essences less for using on the skin because you could actually have a reaction because it's so concentrated in alcohol content, but they use it as though it's a room diffuser so that your whole house smells beautiful. Now, this particular one that I got from Cairo is in a bottle that I bought online because the original packaging was in a tincture. It's quite delicate and it's obviously very concentrated. So to have it in an eau de parfum formula, we had to add, I think, some water as well as a little bit of alcohol to it so that it would actually turn into more of a liquid that's wearable. It's very spicy. It's got a white floral scent too, possibly jasmine as well. Maybe even some oud. It's got a very pungent scent to it. So this is called Arabian Night by Alamir Perfumes Palace, in case you're interested. Now, this was actually part of a tour itinerary when we were going to look at the pyramids. So they just randomly took us to this perfume place. This scent profile has changed a little bit since it is just pure essence. I've had this for like 3 years almost, so it's to be expected. So it doesn't smell as nice and as fresh and clean as the mixed up eau de parfum that we've made. This one, because it has some alcohol content in it, is quite similar to the original from what I remember. But this scent will always remind me of that trip. Obviously, you do get a little bit of a concern of legitimacy of things when you buy perfumes outside of your home country, least of all from a random perfume shop in the middle of Africa. But it is a beautiful scent. What I would say though is that I've noticed, at least with this perfume, when I wear too much of it, my skin starts to have a little bit of a reaction. That's what you get, I suppose, for buying abroad, though it does have sentimental value, even if it's not as wearable day to day. And the other one that I have is this tincture bottle shape as well. And the scent is still pretty much as stable as I remember it compared to the essence. Citrusy, you've got again some floral, maybe white flower notes, maybe a little bit of musk as well. So this one's nice because you can just take the tincture and just put it on your wrists or your neck. It will slowly release throughout the day, but it is quite soft. It's not giving as much of a punch of scent as I would like it to. It pretty much goes within like 30 minutes. So you do have to re-add. Plus, obviously, it's in a tincture format. So if you're not screwing it tightly, it could leak. If you're just going on autopilot and you're screwing and unscrewing it, then you might forget and it might leak all of your bag. Though it is convenient for travel because it's like a, 20 or 30 milliliter tincture, which is nice. Just not great as actual signature scents because they don't last the longest. Now let's just end with a couple of wish list perfumes. And actually they are from two of the niche perfume brands that I've mentioned before. They'd given actually some samples of their signature scents in their range, and actually they have made me want to pull the trigger on buying full-size versions in the near future. So the first one that I really want to add is by Parfums de Marly, and it's their signature Delina scent. Now I know Delina comes in many shapes and sizes, spin-offs as well, but I really like the original the most. And this one has notes of rhubarb, lychee, rose, vanilla. So again, sweet profile, juicy, floral, and it honestly smells so much better than what I had smelt back in the Harrods perfume haul. I think the mixture of scents made me want to get Valaya first because that one is a little bit more distinctive, and Delina, if layered too much, can be overly sweet. But actually, when I got the sample and took that home, smelt it at home, it was really, really beautiful. And it's actually a universally crowd-pleasing scent. I think it was just too overwhelming in the perfume haul. Though it is expensive, it's around, I think, £290 for 75 milliliters. So we'll definitely be getting that on a discount, as I have done actually with all the rest of my niche perfumes I added recently, or just in general. I think fragrance, you should get those discounted because they frequently do go on sale or on promotion. And then the other perfume sample that I also received that has got me hooked is the Creed Aventus for Her. It was a scent that I was not expecting to love so much. Now, this scent is a very clean, classic, and sophisticated one. I honestly was a bit concerned that it would be too similar to 724 or to Valaya, but it is distinctive in its own right. It's got notes of green apple, patchouli, peach, and musk, but it's a very refreshing scent, and I can easily see this becoming a staple in my collection for everyday wear. Again, though, it costs a pretty penny. It's around £270 for a 75ml. So I'll definitely be waiting for the right time to strike to get that perfume in the collection. But anyways, that wraps up my perfume collection. Let me know down in the comments if you own any of these scents, if there are any fragrances you think I should try. I'd love to know your favorite scents and what your signature fragrance is. Anyways, thank you as always for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.